What's up, beautiful people? It is Emmanuel and Adrian Threed here with another Unstoppable Visionary podcast episode. Super excited about this one. We got our friends Donnie and Donnie, the Donnies. Donnie Shell, Donnie Sr, Donnie Jr. They're in this episode, and I know you're going to be blessed. It's going to be amazing. He goes over his testimony. Donnie Sr. goes over his testimony about how God just transformed his life from living in the country to being a football Hall of Famer to Super Bowls, and then Donnie Jr. talking about living a life with a dad that is like that and all that comes with that.
I was like, oh snap, he's a celebrity.
He's a super yeah. We got this probably the most celebrity person that we've had on the podcast. So super excited about you guys seeing this episode, and yeah, make sure that you watch it all the way through because at the end of the episode we got some details coming up with you guys for you guys about things that we got going on, and we want y'all to be a part of. So let's get right into this episode.
Thank you again for joining us today. We're super excited to have you and talking about the topic of legacy leadership. But before we jump into that, I just want to learn a little bit more. I know some about you, but I want our listeners to learn more about who you are, where you came from,
yes,
what season of leadership are you in life right now, and whatever else you want to share.
Well, I'm originally born and raised in Whitmire, South Carolina, right above Newberry. I got to say right above Newberry because Whitmire is so small. Everybody knows where Newberry is. And it was a mill town where everybody worked in the mill, and it worked until they retired for 30 years. I said, well, I might not want to do that. But it was a mill town, and people really supported athletics. So I got involved with sports. I played football, baseball, basketball, and ran track in high school.
Wow.
My head coach, Coach Lefty Johnson, was so influential upon me that he gave me a pathway to what I wanted to be in life. I wanted to be a teacher and a coach like he was, because he loved us more than just on the football field. He cares about us as individuals and personally. So I wanted to be a football coach and give back to and help my community like he was helping his. And then after that, came from 9 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
and playing athletics, it wasn't very much left when I got home from a food standpoint.
Yeah.
But my mother always kind of put me a plate to the side. But we had a great time. Didn't have a lot of finances or material things because we were poor that way. But we had a lot of love in our home. Mm-hmm. And Mama just made me go to church every Sunday. I said, Jesus, I could go every Sunday. And I asked her, one Sunday morning, I said, are you going? No, but you get out of here. You'll go. But, when you're young like that, you kind of regret it. But she was laid the foundation for my spiritual growth.
That's good.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because although I didn't have a relationship with God, I knew who God was, and I respected God. And that's the thing I got from there, because there wasn't a lot of teaching back in the day. But I did respect God. I knew who God was, and I respected the God from that standpoint. In Sunday school and going to church helped me to do that. So going back in high school, so Coach Lefty Johnson would take me. He was a white coach, I understand that, and head coach back in the 69, late 60s. And that's that period of doing integration where you couldn't go to predominantly white schools.
Yeah, wow.
And he was a white guy taking me, riding me home, telling me I can be whatever I wanted to be.
Wow.
I said, now, okay, what's in it for you?
Yeah.
What are you trying to? What do you want from this? And I found out that was just his ministry. He not only did it to me, but he did it to a lot of other people.
Wow.
And so he really encouraged me. I said, well, Coach, you think I can't, brother and sister? Because I was telling everybody we didn't have a lot of clothes or extra stuff or whatever. I said, well, I'm going to go to college. But the Lord used him to plant the seed in me. And my mother asked me, well, you think you can do it? I said, yeah, I can do it, Mom. I got it. But he used, when the coach told you to do something back in the day, you just did it. And so my coach was telling me I can go to school. If you keep playing football like you're playing, you can get a scholarship. So I don't know if I'm talking too long. So.
No, you're good.
Okay. So therefore I got a chance to play in the high school all-star game, but it was basketball. So Coach Johnson came up to me one day and said, well, if you have an opportunity to play football, would you play football? I said, Coach, you know I love football. Come on. So he knew a coach that was coaching linebackers, and they needed a linebacker. He said, Donnie, are you willing to switch? I said, Coach, come on, you know I'm willing to switch. Had a great game, man. Had 11 or 12 tackles at linebacker. All the college head coaches was up there scouting the game that I didn't know about at that time.
Yeah.
And they were looking at me. So SC State offered me a half scholarship in football and a half scholarship in baseball.
Whoa.
I said, I'm not good in math, but a half and a half make a whole. So I'll take it.
Yeah.
So I journeyed off to the South Carolina State and wanted to be a teacher. I knew what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a teacher and a coach. I majored in education and minored in physics, majored in physics education, minored in biology, and I wanted to teach and be a coach. So that was kind of my journey there that led me to other things. So I got finished.
Well, no, you don't have to finish if you want to. You want me to transition over?
Yeah. I think
You can talk as much as you like. This is y'all.
We just having a conversation.
We having a conversation. Yeah.
I'm Lord. Yeah.
You be abusing him. He
No,
look at you like,
absolutely not.
can
No,
I keep talking?
That's not me.
You
That's
been
why
mean to him?
he's thinking that my mom's sitting here. And he's going to talking too long. So no, he's fine. Keep going.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I had no inkling I would ever play on a professional level. I played football and baseball. I was the captain of the football and baseball team in college. But like I said, I kept my dream alive. Guys wanted me to come to the students and do this. And I said, man, no, I got to finish. I got to go to the library, bro. Come from practice. So that really kept me on course to finish in school. I had some pretty good years at South Carolina State in football, and we won the MEAC championship. It was in the spring, I think 73, 74, 73, 4. Anyway, I was doing my practice teaching, and it was time for the draft. And so I get a call from Bill Nunn, of Pittsburgh Steelers. I was practice teaching, so I went and took the call. I said, he said, Mr. Shell, are you aware that you were not drafted? I said, back then they had 17 rounds. I wasn't picked in any one of them. I said, yes, I'm aware, but I wasn't drafted.
Like, why you need to call me and tell me that?
Seriously.
He said, but we're interested in signing you as a free agent.
Wow.
But little they know, my buddy Barney Chaffetz got drafted in, I think, second round at defensive end with Denver Broncos. We had been talking behind the scenes. He said, hey, Shell, come on, I'll take care of you, man.
Wow.
I said, well, in my back of my mind, I said, well, Barney said you're going to take care of me. I said, well, I'm not ready to sign right now. Let's just let me just wait and think about it. So I told Coach Jeffrey, so I went home and thought about it, but I couldn't rest that night. I couldn't sleep. So I got up the next morning, and Coach Jeffrey is like not only head coach, but like my dad away from home. So I said, Coach, I can't sleep. was talking to Barney. I'm thinking about signing with Denver because I know we played together and he's going to take care of me if I go out there. But I'm not sure about Pittsburgh. So what do you think? And Coach looked at me. Coach Jeff is kind of quiet. He looked at me and said, "You need to go to Pittsburgh." I said, "Coach," he said, "You never been that emphatic about anything." I said, "You need to go to Pittsburgh."
Wow.
I said, well, tell me why. I'm like, I asked a lot of questions. He said, and look, they don't care where you come from or what school you went to. They just want to know will you give 100%. They fit you. It's steel workers, because he had coached at the University of Pitt.
Yeah.
And he knew about the environment up with the Steelers and the University of Pittsburgh and steel mills, hardworking people. He said, you fit the MO.
Wow.
So I think God was, I didn't know it then, so look back, God was using Coach Jeffries to tell me to go to Pittsburgh. And to Pittsburgh I went. So we signed.
Wow.
So, came and went to training camp. If you're a rookie, and especially an undrafted rookie, you're not going to get many opportunities to practice or many reps, even in practice.
Wow.
And I started getting some reps and started getting noticed by the coaches because we had a scrimmage that day, and I made a few tackles, and so they started giving me some more repetitions and stuff. But my defense. Coaches back then didn't tell you what they were doing because they said, you just do this. So Coach Carson was my defensive back coach. I was playing safety. So he said, well, Donnie, I want to see, can you cover? We're going to move you to corner. I said, oh, my goodness. I am done now. I'm done now. So he wanted to see, in his mind, he was scheming. And I don't know, I might have been the first maybe potential hybrid player. I didn't think about myself like that. That was in his mind. He said, you play all these sports, and maybe I'm going to see can you cover. But he never tell me why. I said, oh, he get ready to cut me because he moved me from safety to corner. I'm out there with Mel Blunt and everything and playing. And so I called on with the coverages, and he wanted to see can I play man-to-man, and then I could. Yeah. So in his mind, he was going to use me on third down as a nickelback. But I wish he would have told me. And that's what he was doing. And so I started off getting some playing time as nickelback, and also I played linebacker in college. So on goal line, he put me on the outside linebacker. So I wasn't content, though. So I got a little discouraged, and sitting in my locker room, I had my head down, and this guy, about 6'5", a big bald head guy, he came over with the beard. I said, he said, hey, Rook. That's what he called you. That's what he did back then. The rookie called, hey, Rook, you going to dinner with me tonight? I always wanted to be a good businessman. I said, hey, you buying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm buying. Come on, you going. Come on over here. So another instance where God used Mel Blunt to encourage me. He took me to dinner. He said, Donnie, look, I see you getting a little discouraged. I said, yeah, Mel, everything I ever put my hands to, I always started. In high school, was the captain in all the sports. Got to college, I was captain. Made All-American, and then I'm sitting on the bench. Yeah. I said, that's tough to take. Yeah. And I told Lord, I said, Lord, everything else I always touch, you always started. He said, sit down. I said, but you don't understand. This Professor Ball. Sit. And he was teaching about patience and humility. Wow. And also what he was teaching me was that you come into the National Football League, you don't know anything about the National Football League. So what I learned was the nuances of how the league worked. I was set. I didn't have any pressure on me to start. Just coming in on third down and then playing on the goal line, playing special teams. And I had a chance to see and observe people. So I would, my locker room was Franco Harris was here, Rocket Bly was here, and I was in the middle. So I would observe them how they would handle press conferences and questions from the media and stuff. So I was learning and taking all that in, but I got discouraged. So Mel saw me when they said, "Hey, come on, go to dinner." He said, "Look, man," he said, "Look, because the last 2 years they had got knocked out the playoffs, and I came in 1974, so 73 and 72 they got knocked out of the playoffs, and they didn't achieve their goal of going to the Super Bowl. So man, they had their jaw set. As a matter of fact, one day Franco Harris told me in practice, said, "Hey, Rook, we're going to the Super Bowl." I said, "Yeah, that's good." He had that little serious look on his face.
Yeah.
Hey, but no, we're going.
Yeah.
I said, geez. I said, okay, I'm in. And so Will took me to dinner that night, and he talked with me. He said, "Donnie, look, I've never seen anybody play special team like you. You're the first man down there, and I know you're not the fastest on the team. So something is special about you. He said, look, if you keep doing that, we'll get where we need to go.
Yeah.
You keep doing your job." So the Lord used Mel Blunt to encourage me. I said, "Okay, Mel." And that's all. I didn't want to start. I just want somebody to tell me I'm doing good and I'm fitting in and stuff. And so the Lord used Mel to do that. But what he taught me was about the team, what kind of attitude you got to have to play a team sport.
Yeah.
You got to do your job.
Yeah.
Everybody has a job. It may not be starting like you were used to, but my job was on the special team and on the goal line in third down when I came in. So he really encouraged me, so I felt a lot better about where I was headed.
That's good. That's so good. That's so good.
Some water.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Already?
That's so good. A few things that like just stands out to me, and especially because we were talking about before, we have a 14-year-old who is in sports, and but he has aspirations to do other things. Not just he would rather not do anything, just play video games. But it's encouraging to hear that your goal wasn't necessarily going professional. It was education. It was being a teacher, being a coach, but God opened the door through athletics in order for you to get your education for teaching and coaching through the sports, which is, we try to encourage EJ. We like, bro, like, listen, this is not it. We're not, when we talk to him, I'm like, bro, if professional sports it comes up, great, high five, we'll be there. But that's not the goal. The goal is for you to have opportunities. Not even college, you want to do that, but even just now learning aspects of working together, building, doing things, pressing through when you don't feel like it, all those things. It's like we're trying to teach him now those things, and he's not going to get, I don't believe he can get everything from me, right? He going to see me, I'm just dad, right? And there's things that I can impart and give him, but he's going to have a coach that's going to be like, he's going to respect maybe more in a different way than me, and they're going to encourage him a different way and see him in a different light and see and speak those things. And so it's encouraging to see the journey that you've have gone through, and leverage that, and God opening doors and putting people in the way when you were discouraged. They're encouraging you, and it wasn't your pops or any family member. It was coaches that did that and team members that did that. That's encouraging. Yeah.
And you weren't necessarily seeking it out. Like, you were just doing what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, I was just doing what I was supposed to be doing. But as I look back, like you were saying, God has His hand on all of us.
Yeah.
And all our journeys are different.
Yeah.
And I'm glad He's so patient and so loving, so kind, so merciful. He allows us to discover who He is. And then when we really discover who he is, you know, I listened to the song last night. That's the next breath I take. I was singing hallelujah and glory.
Yeah.
Glory to God. When we find out who he is and we look back at our lives and the different people, and that's what he did me all my career, all my life, and still doing today.
Yeah.
Touching people's heart to do this or do that.
Yeah.
So
when was the moment for you where your relationship with God didn't just go from how you grew up and just going to church, but it actually switched into something that was really relational, like something that really, like, God wasn't just something that was just handed to you, but actually became a part of who you are?
Great question. Well, when I got there, I found out that they had a chaplain.
Mm-hmm.
Hollis Harris was our chaplain.
Mm-hmm.
Our chaplain, great man of God, great teacher of God's word. And you remember back when my mother made me go to church, we weren't getting a lot of teaching back then in the black church, hooping and hollering and preaching.
Yep.
So, but I got to sit on a real teacher of the Word of God. So Hollis was our chaplain. So he was. We had chapel service before every game, and I love that. And so I remember going to church. And then on Wednesdays we had Bible study.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so through that avenue, I began to get interested in reading and studying God's Word.
Wow.
And Hollis was a great teacher, man. He really broke it down to us, and then he would take us out in the community.
Mm-hmm.
We went down to Daytona Beach and sharing, talking about our testimony.
Mm-hmm.
So he really implanted a lot of things in us, and that's why I think I found a love for God's Word. But I still wasn't saved.
Mm-hmm.
So my rookie year, we beat the Buffalo. We beat Buffalo. We was playing Buffalo our first game, and that's when they had O.J. Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he ran in.
You played against O.J. Simpson?
Yes, I did. I'm not gonna tell you. I'll tell you the story. I got the infused. I'll tell you a quick story about O.J. Simpson. Anyway, he ran the last leg of that 400 meter in the Olympics.
Yep.
So anyway, we held him to 40 yards rushing that day. So that the next week we was playing the big back Oakland Raiders, flying out to Oakland for the AFC Championship game. And I was sitting on the plane, man. I said, man, shit. Man, they say you couldn't do it. Come from a little town called Whitmire, South Carolina, and everything. They say you ain't gonna make it. You can't go to college and this and that. And God got you to college. Then you said about them pro. I said I didn't want to be a pro anyway. I want to be a teacher. And then he came up here and you undrafted 17 rounds. They passed you up. You was undrafted, and then you made it. So I was just reminiscing about what I was doing, and then I said, in one more game, and we'll be in the Super Bowl. We can beat the Oakland Raiders. Man, I got to my room. I was so miserable. You ever seen a little puppy that lost without his mom? He just hollering. I said, now, whoa, wait a minute. I said, what's up with that? All I heard on the periphery, man, pro ball. You know, and then if you make it, you got it. I was so miserable. I was as miserable as a little puppy without his mom, and I couldn't figure it out. I said, so I went downstairs. I said, I can't sleep. So I said, let me go downstairs, get me something to eat, and so when I was downstairs, I met this white guy. I met this white guy. And I was so full. The first person I met, I just unloaded on him.
Yeah.
I said, Mister, can you tell me? And I described everything I just told you to him, and why I'm not happy. And everybody said I'm supposed to be happy, but I'm not happy. Can you tell me why? I know he didn't have an answer. He said, yeah. I said, well, tell me. he said, Donnie, there's nothing wrong with pro ball, nothing wrong with having a college education and having good things. But in all that, you trying to reach up with God, he's holy and you unholy. I said, oh my God, I'm doomed. He said, oh no. He said, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, that if you believe in him, you can have that everlasting life that you're looking for in football, and that through athletics. I said, give it to me, man. Give it to me. I never heard the gospel like that.
Wow.
I never heard the gospel like that. I said, this is what I need because I'm empty. And he prayed with me. I accepted the Lord Jesus Christ. And right before the AFC Championship game, the next day we're going to play Oakland Raiders. And I said, shoot, we beat Oakland, went to the Super Bowl. I said, shoot, this Christian stuff is good.
Wow.
So accepted the Lord, and next we beat the Oakland Raiders, and next thing I know, we playing the Minnesota Vikings in Super Bowl IX in 1974.
Wow.
So I said, wow. But little did I know, that was a little joke on the side. It's that's not the way the Christian life works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the sooner we share that with people, they won't be disappointed with just getting all the good stuff they can get from God.
Yeah.
Because you got to deny yourself and take up your cross.
Yeah.
That's, I think, I see not a lot of that taught. Jesus suffered and died.
Yeah.
And he died a horrible death on the cross. And he didn't do anything. But when you put it up there, he was considered guilty.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to ingrain that teaching, especially with our young people, so they can understand that, yes, you're saved. Yes, you're going to heaven, but you didn't have anything to do with it. It was because of what Jesus did on the cross, and he suffered and died and then deserved to die.
Yeah.
But I think if we get more of that teaching, including, you got to share the whole gospel with people so they won't be discouraged, because tests and trials are coming.
That's good. That's good.
We might have to change the name of this episode to Finding God in Unexpected Places in Your Journey.
Put it out there. So it's all good.
This is good.
This is really good.
Let's hear from you. Who are you?
Yes, this other random, random person.
No, it's his twin. This other guy that looks like him.
He gave me permission. You know what I asked?
He did. I knew where it was going to go lead to, so I was doing it. No, but my name is Donnie Shell Jr. I have the privilege of being this man right here's son. And a lot of the things that you heard from him have bled over into the man that I am today. And so I can go into a long story about all the things and that, but I'm also want to just kind of piggyback off of what he said, just the lessons that he learned from, whether it's Coach Johnson or Coach Jeffries or anything in the NFL. He imparted that in myself and my sisters. And so when you talk about, leadership, I think that leadership, we try to put it up on a pedestal and say that it's something we got to go get this certification and get this. But leadership a lot of times is using what your life's experience are to benefit those around you. Yeah. And I feel like that's what he has done. He's always preached to us to be servant leaders. And so I think that's why we all are in the helping profession, the people profession of whether it's education or nonprofit work. And so just again, this is something he never did, right? He was played in the NFL and worked in the NFL, been an executive in the NFL for 30 plus years and things like that, but never saw the side of it as far as the community, but did a lot of community work. So a lot of things that he was invested in trickled down to us and led us to where we are in our lives today, which is just wanting to help people and do God's work.
Yeah, that's legacy though. Yeah. Like that's, you're talking about when something starts one way and then it just continues. Like, did you go to NFL?
No.
Okay.
I had no-
Did you
Hey,
play football?
I did. So I played. So our tracks are similar. Our entire family went to South Carolina State University.
Okay, okay.
Wow.
Branded on his chest.
Okay, Bulldogs.
Yep.
National champion.
Yes.
Wait, you get it right.
That's right.
Some
Seriously,
respect on his
I
name.
apologize. I apologize.
I would say that because he worked in the NFL. I grew up in what is now called Bank of America Stadium. Back then it was called Ericsson Stadium.
Erickson. Yep.
He worked for the Panthers from 94 to 2009.
Oh,
wow.
And so I grew up in that stadium.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I've seen what professional athletes look like from a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
I knew from my time playing, even in high school, but I was like, probably not going up there. So my expectations were very
Why?
well, when you are in high school and then you get a chance to see a physical phenomenon of Julius Peppers.
Got you, Julius Peppers.
You're right. So I got to see that from day one, and him in practice, and him running up against the running backs and doing a
that's
better
wild.
drill than the running backs than they did. So I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
my expectations of my athletic ability were already set. I was like, hey, I'm good. So let me figure out what else I can be good at. You know. So, but I think that if you come to the reality of who you are and not kind of be in this world of like, you know, kind of forcing it, it's like, all right, I know what that looks like. And he always kind of showed me, you know, how to evaluate. And so I'll go to work with him and I would go to the scout room and I'm watching tape.
Yeah.
And every time I saw it, I was like, all right, these guys are on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And there's just talent, you know, so instead of being down and thinking that, you know, I'm his namesake, I got to go to the NFL, I was 2 when he retired. So I didn't see any of this, you know, the Donnie Shell that everybody exalts and puts up there, right? That's dad. That's pops, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but I saw him as the executive. I would sit in his office and see how he, you know, would be there and he'd have a little notepad, and every time he'd walk around and he would just write down notes of people that was talked to him. He had a call log book that he would go through his messages and write down. So I'm seeing what an executive looks like, what a person that works and has to facilitate a lot of decisions and a lot of things. And so I think from an early age, I saw that being more like a business minded, being intentional about saying, how can I build relationships? How can I, you know, make sure that I can articulate myself, be able to speak well, just to be able to represent what we're doing. And so a lot of times I look back at it, it's like I would sit there and I have, you know, and I think I was going when I was young, so maybe like I'm 12, right? So I got my book bag with my comic books and things like that. And I was sitting in a little particular chair in the corner and just be there for like 8 hours. Like we was going to work. Like we get there at 8. We leave at 5. So I would put a whole day in. That's like a child labor laws maybe. But no, to see that and even to see him grow in the organization from, I remember when we first moved into the state, you had an office not even bigger than this stage. And to growing and seeing it, I was like, man, like I want to, maybe that's the path I need to take.
Yeah.
You know, and was in college and playing football and, where my career took a turn is that I got diagnosed with seizures. So I could not play anymore. Well, it was recommended that I not play anymore. Really? It was my choice. But I chose to take another route. And so similar to what he's saying about, I think leadership is also having good mentors, right? I was fortunate enough to connect with a gentleman I'm still close to today, is Donnie Shell Sr, who was our strength and conditioning coach. And when I say that our first interaction, I hated that man because he made me run gashers and all this kind of stuff. He walked into our football meeting and said, hey, my name is Donnie Shell and we get ready to run. Hello, seriously. But to the point where we, after I couldn't play anymore, I worked 2 years in the strength and conditioning area with him, side by side, and a desk probably this big, and learn again, being observant, learning and seeing. So a lot of my what I take with me now is just having good people in front of me, being able to just mirror those attitudes and those attributes that you see.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah, just to say a note on that, I'm so proud of all Donnie, April, Don, and Octavius. That's the one I adopted after I left the Panthers. I was working with Johnson C. Smith. They all are in the helping profession.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't be proud of them. I'm real proud of them because you have to help other people. You have to make a sacrifice.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're gonna do a good job and you want to see them do a good job, so you got to sacrifice your time and your efforts. So I'm proud of all of them.
What was it like once you realized at some point as you got older, oh, my dad was like a whole celebrity? Like, what was that like?
And, I don't know if we ever really kind of put in that perspective. I think because he played in Pittsburgh, right? And so we grew up in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And so when I got older, we would go back. He would have things that he would do at Pittsburgh. And it was totally different than from when we were living in Rock Hill or in Columbia. He would go back and he would walk around the street and say, "Hey, that's Donnie Shell." I was like, he was like, "Nah, keep walking." Because people would stop and want to get his autograph thing. So I didn't put it in perspective until then. I was like, like he was nice.
Yeah.
And so to kind of see the accolades that he has, and one of the things I always brag on about is that he still holds the records for strong safeties, for interceptions, for 52, right?
One. I appreciate
50,
the extra.
It's a 51 record, but I thought you had 52 credited.
No.
51. No, okay, I'll try to give him one.
Yeah, you try to give him one.
But no, I think it's things like that you learn, right? And you say, and he's never presented that to be his calling. Mm-hmm. That was just a part of his life, and it has led him to other things. And so I think for me, that was the thing that I never saw him as this, 4-time Super Bowl winner, 5-time, Pro Bowl, NFL Hall of Famer. I can keep going down the reel of the greatness of that aspect, but he's always taught us about being a better person. Right? Yeah. And so I think that's my dad.
Yeah.
I don't look at him as Donnie Shell Hall of Famer. This is Donnie, my namesake. Like this is the man who gave me the same name as him. So I want to live up to what I see there, not the football player.
Yeah.
I think that's what Donnie said, Junior said, I think is very important for me, for parents, talking to parents now, to show them who you are. You're their parents, their mom and their dad. And regardless of what your job description says on the outside, you can't bring that on the inside of your family. Mm-hmm. And you got to leave that when you go to work. Mm-hmm. And that's what I tried to do. I tried to just show them that I was just their dad, and then that worked because I was sowing into their lives and doing different things. So for parents, that's very important because they want to see dad. They don't want to see a Hall of Famer or 4-time Super Bowl champion when they get hurt or fall down and bump their knee or need somebody to encourage them. Yeah. They want to see their dad.
You don't want to rub the ring on your
pick me up, strong man. They want to see dad. So I intentionally kept it separate.
That's good.
Coming up. So for parents, keep it separate. Mm-hmm. They need to see a dad and a mom when they come home because they've been through a lot of things at school and you don't know how their day was. So they need to see mom and dad when they get there.
That's so good.
So now you work for Charlotte Rescue Mission.
Correct. But
you also work with your dad on something else that's pretty special.
Yes.
What do y'all do together?
Yeah, so what is it, about 10 years? 10. Well, yeah, I'll let him tell a story about how I got founded because he's our founder. But we have, for the past 10 years, ran a foundation together, the formerly named the Donnie Shell Scholarship Foundation. As of probably March 1st of this year, we're going to launch, due to the graciousness of Give Hope Daily. I'm putting a little plug out there. But we're going to launch it as the Shell Legacy Foundation.
That's awesome.
It's a different name, but same mission. Right? And so we been blessed to be able to provide resources for students, both in collegiate and otherwise, to be able to support them on what some may be able to say the little things, but those things that may not be covered when somebody applies for like a scholarship. So whether it's basic needs, just being able to go and have toiletries so you can show up to class and with good hygiene. have a laptop to be able to get to your all of your curriculum, whether we support youth sports as well as K-8 literacy. And so, that is through the passion of having parents and sisters that are all in education. My mom and dad, graduating with their degrees in counseling. My sisters, both 20 plus years in education.
Wow.
My grandmother did 38 years as an educator. And so that just kind of trickles down to me. I bucked the system, obviously. Did not want to be a teacher, and I'm proud of myself for not doing that. But indirectly, I kind of went into it because I did recreation, which is kind of more so on the back end of the school day. You're dealing with the kids after they've gotten all the things out of school, and so understanding that that plays a part into it as well. So we've been fortunate enough to I think the last stat that I raised probably hopefully I won't butcher it. It's about $600,000 that we've raised over the past 10 years. I've been able to pour into students, and so I think that's what you talk about, that legacy. That's why I wanted to change the name.
Yeah.
As I said, this is great. I'm appreciative of how we started, but we really are doing things that have broadened out into in different areas and when it started as a scholarship foundation. And I wanted to honor the people that's been doing the work, which is our entire family. And so it's not to take away from his legacy of taking away the Donnie Shell name, but also just saying like this is a family legacy. Hence the name of the Shell Legacy Foundation.
I love it. So how did this get started, the foundation aspect of things?
Well, I was elected to be on the board of South Carolina State University board for the school. And if you're a board member, you begin to see the behind the scenes, what's going on and regarding students and their needs. And so I was on the board, and so I saw a need to fill in the gap, the financial gap for students. Because some would come and they need computers, and others would come, like Donnie said, they need essential needs, and others just need a scholarship. Others just needed the gap money to come back to school the next year, paying fees. And that sort of thing. So I saw the need behind the scene, and we was on a board meeting, and sometimes the students came to the board meeting, and one of the students asked me, he said, "Mr. Shell, I'm a good student, but I don't have a computer, and I need a computer." So I said, "Well, go and talk to this lady right here that sat beside me, and she can help you out." And she wrote me the most nicest letter I ever read in my life. She said, "Mr. Shell, you don't understand. I got the internship, and now and I can take my computer to keep up with my work at the same time.
Wow.
And so I really appreciate what you did." So seeing the need, fulfilling the need, and then having the testimony of the students come back and say, "You're on the right track. You keep doing what you're doing."
Yeah. Wow. That's the pattern that when I see things like this, and I see what God has done in your life and our lives, it's like one little thing. So your beginning, it's like that just it's not like that's the drop, but the ripple, it's like really, really, really cool to see the ripple, how big that ripple goes. Like, I mean, and you don't fully know, that girl or that student is like, from that laptop, her education, who she empowers and impacts. But it started with the coach. Started with your willingness to listen to God, even though you didn't know fully it was God. That's encouraging. That's so encouraging, and it should encourage all of us that when don't fully know what the next steps are or whatever, it's like, there's testimonies that we can listen. There's people that we can listen to and glean from. That's like, like Donnie Sr. didn't have a goal to go to the NFL, but God had a plan, right? God had a plan for him to go pro. to see certain things, to put him in a position to be on the board at South Carolina in order to, have the impact for this girl.
Yeah, South Carolina State University.
South Carolina State.
Yes.
I have to say all of it. South Carolina State University.
The Bulldogs. We love the school. but a good school. You were saying something. I just want to say something to people that don't be so discouraged. I didn't understand coming up with 9 brothers and sisters and not having the essentials, clothes, and either to go to church clothes and nice clothes and food. But I asked my sister, I said, why we come up so hard?
Mm.
She said, well, Donnie, I don't think you'd be doing what you're doing if we hadn't.
Wow.
He said, God did that so you make you sensitive. Now you sensitive to other people's needs.
Wow.
I said, wow.
Wow.
I said, I was wondering. I used to ask God, I said, Lord, I said, why are we coming up so? What are you doing? He said, you would have been so sensitive to people's needs, and the Lord allowed you to come up now. You'll see a need. He'll show you to it, and then you're gonna help people.
Going through that though, that couldn't have been easy.
No, it was not easy because you always wondered.
Yeah.
Everybody else got good things to wear to church. Why we got to wear jeans and what they call broke-in shoes back then? They was the high top things, and they wasn't They wasn't Air Jordans.
Yeah.
But you wonder about things like that. But I do remember being about 9 years old and praying on our back porch. I said, Lord, if you get me out. If you help me, I help somebody else. And he did that. He's doing that.
Wow.
That's real.
That's why we have to give him a budget now from the foundation.
Because every I'm helping everybody.
Listen, I love it. Yes, we want to help everyone. Here, sir, is your budget.
I can so resonate with that.
Here's your budget. My sister's probably gonna watch this and be like, "Yes, we gotta put it on the budget." So
I said, Lord,
I love it.
I said, Lord, you said, I said, do a leg and pass it down, but
That's
they
real.
restraining me.
That's real though. That's
little
real.
guardrails, not restraints.
Little guardrails. Yeah.
That's all. But I think that's the passion behind it. Right?
No, that's real.
With
Yeah.
him and living the life that he had to live as a youth, that wasn't something I experienced.
Yeah.
And so, because of all the things that he's done, we grew up in a very, some would say, upper middle class kind of environment. But that did not, when you talk about the Christian life, the Christian walk, like that didn't exclude me from going through difficult times and difficult seasons. So I'll let him tell a story, and this is from my Uncle Barney, about me. Because it's something I pull on all the time when I was a baby. But he'll tell the story, and I'll tell you why I pull on it, because there are difficult times that you face. You got to remember some things. But give him the story if you would like to tell.
It's a good one. Remember I told you that I had a choice to go to Denver or Pittsburgh because Barney, my friend and buddy, on the NC State team, got drafted the year before I did in the second round at the defensive end to Denver Broncos. And so I was with Pittsburgh, so Denver came down to play us. And so I said, Barney, when you come in, I'd like to get together with you. So I took Barney out to dinner. And we just sat around and talking and everything. I don't know if he came out of the house or whatever, but he looked at Donnie. Hey, you got a big old deep boy. Hey, he's special. I said, well, we all special. God made him. No. He's special. God got his hand on him. I said, wow, really? but he used Barney to tell me that my son God had His hand on him, and he was it like this right here.
Mm-hmm.
So I shared that story with him, and I said no. God gave Uncle Barney a word for you.
Mm.
You're special, and God got His hand on you.
Mm.
And then I saw the authenticity about what he meant. And he was serious.
Yeah.
So and sure enough, God had His hand on his life.
Yeah.
He told me that story when I was younger, and so I always pull on it when difficult times come, because the part of the story he didn't say is that what my Uncle Barney would say, he was like, he's special and he's gonna go through things, but God has His hand on him. And so
yes.
when it's times where I feel like God has forgotten about me, when I go through seasons of I feel like I'm in a very dark place, I pull on that to tell myself, well, somebody who knew nothing of me or anything about me, and I'm a baby, said I was special. So it had to come from. It didn't just come from that individual. It had to come from God.
Right.
So if God believes that I'm gonna be special, He has His hand on me, then whatever this I'm going through, it shall pass.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that when you're going through. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like that when you're trying to figure out, and because I'm involved in where the money's coming from, how are we gonna do this? It's tough. But knowing that what you're doing is going to help somebody else, I always believe that God is going to cover you, because you are giving upon yourself what you could be doing something else for your own benefit to help somebody else. I just truly believe in my hearts of hearts and my soul that God has no choice but to bless you when you give towards others, and that comes from the foundation of Him, and then trying to push that out to the people that we interact with, and just let them know that it may be a small thing, to us, a $300 laptop is we're blessed to have some funds, which is good, and that's not really something that is going to put a dent into what we do. But to be able to provide that for that student, to then, like you said, now what's the ripple?
Yeah.
What happens 10 years from now when she becomes a millionaire and wants to impart that into the Shell Legacy Foundation?
Yeah.
We never know.
Yeah.
But we take the opportunities that God gives us to be able to help others, and I just believe He's going to continue to bless you from that.
That's so good.
So what has it been like working together with each other?
That's the key right there. That's the question right there.
We are very similar. You probably can see our mannerisms are similar.
Your face is similar.
Right. So the thing about it though is that I'm probably the best balance of my mom and dad of all the three of the kids. So I think my sister's got one way, my other sister the other way. I kind of split right down the middle. So I got a lot of my mom in me. And so a lot of things that we're working with him, I have to be very detailed as far as being able to explain it, because he said it before. He asked a lot of questions. I tell people, if you're going to bring something to my dad, you better have X, Y, and Z together. Because if you're talking about spending money, I need to know how it's going to be beneficial, what it's going to do. So
how do we do with that proposal?
Oh, well, I'll tell you in real time. We had a meeting last night. He saw all of the material, and he was like, "Man, they did a good job." And trust me, when I put the invoice on there, he was like, now, "How's this gonna?" But I think for us being able to see how we both work together, he trusts me to make decisions. I had to earn that trust.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with us being father and son. It has everything to do with the fact that we are part of this foundation. And there are other things that's tied to it that goes further than our relationship together.
Yeah.
It's about the people that we serve. And so if you're doing something that's going to counteract what we're doing, then we need to see it, make sure that aligns or doesn't align.
Yeah.
And so learning that about him has caused me to be better in every aspect of what I do, because I'm like, if I can present it to him, I got y'all. If he can sign off on it, then I'm not worried. But that causes me, because I could be very much a go with the flow person, and just like, all right, let's pick up, we good, let's do it. And so with him being very detailed and very methodical, very, very meticulous, having to work with him has caused me to level up my skill sets and having to work with people that are different from me, and it's caused me to be more organized, be more detailed. And this year is really the first year that we have kind of switched roles, where he's led a lot of it the past couple of years. It is put on me as his executive director to come up with this, and him taking a step back, not a step out. I'd have to remind him sometimes. And he's like, "Hey, I know you with my mom and Gastonia, but we got to hop on this call." But I think the trust goes a long way, even to where leading meetings and things like that. I'm the one that's calling the meetings. I'm writing the agendas. I'm putting the action steps into place.
Yeah.
And so taking what I learned from my professional career and working in nonprofits for over 15 years, and then now to be able to apply it to my family's foundation, like this is kind of the best of both worlds. So I kind of live in this space where it's like, I love what I do with Charlotte Rescue Mission because we serve those who are struggling with the homelessness and addiction. But the things that I learned behind the scenes, the logistics of running a nonprofit, I'm able to put into application for our family's foundation, and my hope is that I'm taking it to the next level.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. So what's the future? Like, you've had a decade of the Donnie Shell Foundation. Where's the Shell Legacy Foundation? Where do you see it in 5, 10?
Yeah, I think it's we have really dialed in on our focus areas of support, and so it is seeing those areas grow. We went through a consulting firm that helped us really kind of level set on what exactly do we want to provide support to.
That's good.
I'll say this: it's difficult being a funder foundation when you don't have that large influx of donors. It's sometimes hard for us to apply for grants because we are giving the money out to the individuals, not necessarily putting on programs. And so I think for me and for all those who work for the organization, it is, one, you want to see us grow into where we can have stability and be able to gear towards the focus areas that we've declared, and it not be a daunting task.
Yeah.
We through his guidance, we put together an endowment that started about 3 years ago, I believe, which has close to about $300,000 in it, and so we want to raise that up to be able to not have to rely on the landscape of philanthropy to be that. Doesn't limit us to what we're able to give.
Yeah.
And so as we raise funds and pour into our endowment, my hope is that we reach our goal of having that at $1 million, and we'll be able to pull upon that to provide support. And then obviously for those who want to continue to support us, we'll take your money too. I'm not going to, but I think it's more so wanting to see us grow and really establish those focus areas, which are, student support when it comes to scholarships, essential needs, K-8 literacy, and youth sports.
That's so good. That's so good. It's needed. It's needed. Obviously, there's a need there, and when I see you all working together, like it's a beautiful thing because my background is ministry. So my dad's a pastor, and we're in pastoral ministry to a degree, and there is it reminds me very similar to like a pastor and like a PK, and it's like it can be messy. It could be just not fun. If communication isn't there, if clear roles isn't there, if expectations isn't clearly there, it could be real messy. But it's beautiful to see that you all are working together, and it continues because things are set up to continue. When 50 years from now, I look at like a Charlotte Rescue Mission. There are 100 plus years. It's close, and I'm like, it's like how do organizations like that, when you know that the founders are no longer here, they're still having major impact, is because there's systems and things that are in place that happened probably early on, that said, hey, this is where we need to go, and so it's beautiful to see that.
Well, it's no different between Jesus having his 12 disciples and sowing into their lives.
Yeah,
and they changed the world.
Yeah.
Because he sowed into their lives and ministered to them. And the gospel is still being shared today. So it's a lot of work and it's a lot of praying.
Yeah.
You got to pray that you keep the right attitude
Yeah.
as you go along, because we all got an ego and a human nature.
Yeah.
But even in that, God will use it because as you spending your quiet time before the Lord, and you ask Him to do certain things for you, and are you keeping my word? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? And you're asking me to do this, but so he can use a nonprofit organization like we're running, and still growing and developing us as believers, because you have to spend quiet time for the Lord to run a nonprofit, to really feel about the direction He wants you to go in, and then go in that direction, and then stay on that path.
Yeah.
You got to spend time before Him, asking Him about this and that. What about this? Like Donnie said, well, Lord, how you gonna do this? But that stretches you to grow and to trust Him. God is a graceful and a merciful God, but His mercy is it's way out. It's out of this world.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as we grow and go through different things, and God deliver us from those things. We get to see a little bit more glimpse of Him, a little bit more glimpse when we go through, and then when we go through things and doing it His way.
Yeah.
Then the discipline comes in too. Can't do this. You're off here. you didn't say that in a loving way.
Yeah.
He's going to check you up.
Yeah.
But all those things, He's still using us to shape us and mold us to the image of Jesus Christ.
Yeah. What's a couple things that, if you're encouraging somebody who's like, I want to have impact, I want to do something, but what's something that like practically they could do if they feel discouraged on their journey? So maybe something that you guys have done or worked together to press through when times are, you're like, I got this vision, I got this idea, we got goals, we got financial goals, but it's the landscape is different in the nonprofit world or whatever. When you're discouraged, what's some wisdom for those that might want to keep going?
This got to be God breathed, because I literally just said it to my one of my teammates today. Is that small steps make large impact, right? And so a lot of times we want to be in front and doing, and we want to have the $1 million idea that goes and service a lot of people, but it starts with the one, right? And so if you can reach the one, and then the 2 and the 3, and so I think not getting caught up in trying to keep up or trying to feel like you're behind. I do believe that God has us right where we need to be in every step of the way. And so understanding that it's not about, the Instagram post or the grant that you're applying for. It's about, can I make one more impact with somebody and change their life in a way in that moment.
So
and
good.
I think that's when that ripple happens.
Yeah.
Right? But, you can make a big ripple with a small rock in a pond.
Yeah.
And so you got to be able to take those small steps. And sometimes those steps are hard. Sometimes you'll only take 2 steps today because I got life. Because lifes, and we know that.
Yeah.
But then there are other days that God graces you to be able to take more. And so, one of my coaches always said, just fall in love with the journey. And so I think that's about taking those very small steps at times, and as God gives you a greater platform, you can continue to, just be able to serve Him and be able to serve His people.
That's so good.
When I get discouraged, I go back in my quiet time and go back to Scripture. Philippians 2:5-11. It talked about Jesus Christ and His attitude. And I remember going to practice one day when I was in Pittsburgh, and I was not too far from, because we live on the north side in Pittsburgh, about 10 minutes away from the stadium, and I'm trying to get to practice. Pull over and read that scripture. Philippians 2:5-11. I said, I said, Lord, but I got to be at practice there, but I'm late there and get fined. You need to pull over and read the scripture. So it came a little like, So I said, I start reading this stuff and everything. I said, oh, I see. Okay. I got it, Lord. I see what you're trying to tell me. Even though Jesus was God, he didn't use that to his own advantage.
Wow.
He humbled himself.
Wow.
Not even that. And I was reading in there, but I never saw. He said, even unto death. I said, what do you mean by even? What do you mean by that? Even unto death. He said, Donnie, when you hung on a cross, you considered guilty, but he didn't do anything. And that's what he gave. He gave me those scriptures in Philippians. I said, Lord, okay, I got it. So when I get discouraged, once I start going back there, everything comes back in perspective.
Yeah.
And he opens up his vision more, so you can see.
That's so good.
Yeah. So and sometimes God knows what he's going to do. He knows He knows what you pray for. He's going to do it. But like sometimes he gives a roundabout way.
Yeah.
So he can include the things you need to be more like Jesus in it.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. I need that because right now, Donnie knows. Donnie Jr. knows. I mean, listen, he knows. I was like, listen, I don't understand where God has us, but the thing I always tell myself, if I trust God, if I say that I trust God, then I gotta trust God. it's common sense, but it's like, God, I trust you. He's like, no, I really trust you. And sometimes that's hard. Like just like your defensive coach was like, he's like, he put you in a position that was not your normal position. He didn't tell you what he wanted. He didn't tell you the plan, but he positioned you where, he felt like you needed to be, and that's where you thrived at, right?
Yes.
And it's like,
Yes.
And it's like, man, God, but you see where I'm at. I mean, it's like he's like, I know, I got you. I'm like, okay, sure. It's like I can help a little bit. It's like, but it's hard because sometimes you don't. Right, because you don't know and you don't feel them.
It is hard because we are human.
Yeah,
and we get discouraged sometimes.
Yeah,
but then God created the heavens and the earth, and not only that, He maintains it, and He knows exactly what's going on everywhere overall in heaven and earth.
Yeah.
That's a lot to manage.
That's a mighty God.
That is
but that's the God who lives inside of us.
Yeah.
But sometimes God loves us so much He continues to conform us to Jesus. So you got to give up something. He can't feel you, and then someone else is inside.
Wow.
Completely.
Wow. Yeah.
So He has to remove that, but He knows how to do it without hurting us.
Yeah.
If we walk in obedience, and that's what that is. When you go through, He's removing it so you can let your light so shine and not make it. Then it starts shining, and then people come to you. Yeah. And actually, how'd you handle that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what it goes right back to the foundation. He takes us back to being more like Jesus Christ. You got to be a servant leader. One who's motivated by love and humility, but demonstrated by example. Yeah. And when we get off, we all get off. And that's why it's so important to spend our quiet time. Because in my quiet time, I said, "You sure you're not my dad?" He said, "No, I know how to do it." But that's where you get the you want to hear from him. You're asking them questions and you're spending time. And he's all about relationships, man. If that relationship ain't right, you can pray all you want, you ain't getting it.
Yes.
you ain't getting it.
Yeah. For people who are building something as a family, what advice do you have for working together in a family dynamic to build something that will outlast all of you? Because it's not easy to work with family sometimes. Even especially like father-son dynamic.
Yes.
You know, like we had an interesting experience working with his parents and like doing pastoring churches, and it was hard. And there's a lot of things that, you know, retrospectively, like we would do differently through the wisdom that we gained from those experiences. So based off of you guys' experience working together, what would you recommend to others as they're entering into a dynamic of working together with a parent or a family member to build a vision that will outlive them?
Definitely, you got to give not only yourself but the people you work with. You got to give them grace, because everybody's passionate about it and they want to help, and you know, they have their things that they want to be able to service people, and so you know, you got to give each other grace because we come from different walks of life. Even though we're family, we see the world differently.
Yeah.
There are different experiences that he's experienced that I can glean from. But also, there are things that I've experienced that he's learned and gleaned from as well. So I think that's where we have found our sweet spot, is understanding that, yes, this is my father and I'm his son, but we run this organization together and we respect each other as equals in the organization. And so the father and son relationship, it plays a part in it. But just like how you said about being a parent, you can't bring your job to the house. We try not to bring that relationship into here because it does make it murky.
Yeah.
Because if I'm dealing with a situation with him and we not seeing eye to eye, and then I go back to the fact that when I was in 11th grade, you know, you such and that, and to be fully transparent, like, we had it wasn't a rough relationship, but I wasn't a knucklehead. I just didn't want to do any work back in the day. I just wanted to kind of go to school.
Now it's like, yes.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And so from like middle school to like at the end of high school, our relationship was very much like, you know, you trying to, hey man, tighten up, you know. And so, but taking that now and being able to build upon that. And him acknowledging the man that I've become is that's what really has set the tone for our relationship. Because he sees me as a man of God that can run a meeting and can be trusted with finances. And to hear your father say that you can't have any more impactful words spoken over your life than that. And so I think because there's a grace that we give each other, and there's also that trust. I don't want, and that's why we call it the Shell Legacy Foundation. Like, being that our names are the same, I was always under a microscope to be like him. And so you can either take that and run from it, or you take it and use it. For a long time, I used to be like, I want my own name. I'm not Lil Donnie. I'm not son of Donnie Shell. I'm not, you know, all that. You know? And so I've learned that there is a great responsibility that I have, but also there's a great blessing that I have in it. And be able to be entrusted not just with this name, but also with a legacy. That is where I get passionate about wanting to do it. And so, you know, with us doing it for a few years, you know, he's like, hey, man, we got the endowment fine. We good. We can just give this money out, and me and your mom, we good. I'm like, hey. I was like, just give me a year. Give me a year to see if I can run it, you know, and think, you know, when he said yes to that, we didn't know at that time that my sister was going to retire from working 30 plus years into the education system, and so she's doing her own thing, but then she's come on to help with the finances. And so it's like, because he trusted, and I truly believe that he heard from God, and God said, hey, he got it. You know, just stay with him, but he got it. And then you start continuing to bring help. It doesn't mean that we don't go through those times of wondering, like, man, what are we going to get out of this? Like, it has to be a little easier or something. But because that trust is there, we have grace for each other, and I think we just generally love what we do that helps us when those times gets a little tough.
And from my standpoint, I got to continue to stay in prayer, man, before the Lord. Because what you want to do is just you see them and they go in the wrong direction. You just want to grab them out the fire.
Yeah.
And then like leave them alone. Let them walk, and you just pray for them. So it has really helped me to be more prayer conscious because I want them to go and see what they. See how they do it, because it's some things that at their disposal was not at our disposal when we came through.
Yeah.
So like like the internet and being online and marketing online. Man, we don't care anything about that.
Yeah.
But that's huge. That's huge to them because they came up in that market. And they know how it works.
Yeah.
So from my standpoint, it has helped me to pray more, and then when we do that, then the Holy Spirit is our check. He'll check me up. I said, let him do it. He's going over there.
Yeah.
So that's been good because it's causing me to grow and pray and be more sensitive and listen. And because I want him to do it, now the Lord said, well, take your hands off and let him do it. So, but I'll show you certain things when I tell you tell him. Then
Stay engaged. Holy Spirit, tell him to stay engaged.
Yeah. I love it.
But it's been good because that's been my goal all the time is to pass something down to, in my family, to see it go to the next generation, and then it's still helping.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited about. It's the service part of it.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, I wasn't working for a nonprofit.
Seriously,
I'd be like, sign me up.
seriously.
Hire me.
Might come right over there real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, before we close, I have one last question. What's the O.J. Simpson story?
You brought it back around. You brought it back around. So in '74 we played them and we went to the AFC Championship game on to the Super Bowl. The next year, Mr. Simpson came back and he rushed for 202 yards against the steel curtain defense. He had his jaw set. So my defense coordinator again. We on the -30. They're 30. And guess what defense he called? Goal line blitz. That's 11 men on the line of scrimmage. I looked at Jack Lerner and I said, Jack, we cannot run it. He didn't have the brave enough to not. I wouldn't have run it, man. I was called timeout. He didn't have brave enough to call timeout and do everything. Get back in the hole, Shell. Get it. I told him, I said, Jack, we can go line blitz. If he starts this way and he cuts back, he's gone. Man, O.J. Simpson came out, started left. Everybody went that. He cut back because everybody up on the line of scrimmage. Pew. So I was playing my outside linebacker position, so I was like this. So he was going down this sideline right here, so I was coming over. I said, I got him, man. I'm just going to cruise, so I don't want him to cut back. And you know what the reporter asked him, he said, did you think about cutting back? And you think about cutting the ball back? I never thought about it. No. He was like this. I was running, and I got that close, and my knee ligament was almost tore away from my knee. I slowed. I said, man, he can have that touchdown. I'm not tearing my knee up. That's
Wow.
Normally, I would just catch anybody.
Yeah.
But he outran the angle.
That's wild, to outrun the angle.
That's amazing. So that's the O.J. Simpson.
Wow.
I love it.
That's crazy.
This has been a
to
great
find that
conversation. Yes, this has been an amazing conversation. Yeah. I hope that I know people were blessed and encouraged. I know we are. It's just, again, it's encouraging to see you all work together and to see the legacy being built in real time, which is super, super, super amazing. Yeah. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys.
I know you guys loved that episode because it was crazy amazing. Like crazy amazing.
Yes.
The testimonies of just how God like divinely orchestrated these Kairos moments in his life. I don't know if you know what that word means.
Yeah.
You can inbox me and I'll tell you.
You got it.
Stay tuned for more amazing episodes of the Unstoppable Visionary podcast. We still have some amazing people lined up. Like, we've been sitting on some gems and we're finally going to let you in. All right, we're going to share. So yeah,
Yes.
subscribe. How do kids say it? Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Yo, also be sure to check out the Big Drip website.
Yes.
www.bigdriprevival.com.
Yes.
We have some amazing community inspired opportunities to just get together with some dope people, have some fun, listen to some dope music, and drink some good coffee.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in the next one that's coming up, go ahead and check that website out.
Yep.
And subscribe to that so that you get the first, how would you say it? First notifications.
Notification dibs.
Because the seats go fast.
They go by super fast.
So
Yes.
you get the little inside scoop, insider tip. Go to that page, sign up, so you're in the know for the upcoming
You gotta
events.
be in the know. You gotta know what's going on.
So.
You got to. Yeah. BigDripRevival.com, UnstoppableVisionary.com, YouGuysAreAwesome.com.
Wait.
That's not a real site, but you guys are awesome. We love y'all. Peace. Have a good one. Give Hope Daily.